What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the SFS channel. My name is Gavin, and today I have my final lineup advice video for you guys. It is my top 5 must-start wide receivers list for Week 17 action, and the guys I think you can put out in your lineups and depend on as healthy streams for the season finale and last week of 2020 fantasy football. As always, if you guys haven't already, make sure to head over to my channel and click the subscribe button along with turning the bell on so you guys are notified whenever I come out with a new video. I'm going to be coming out with a lot of great stuff here on the SFS channel for off-season content and helping you guys become even better fantasy players in 2021. I can't wait. I have a lot of ideas in store and a lot of cool stuff I want to get out for you guys. So stay tuned for that. Don't go anywhere this off-season. We're going to do a lot of great things together and put out some special stuff. So make sure to do that. And if you guys are feeling generous, head over to my Patreon. The link is in the description. And there you guys will be able to support my content and gain some early access and extra information for Fantasy Football 2021, as well as a discount for my draft guide that will eventually be coming out. So thank you guys so much as always. Let's not waste any more time. Let's hit the intro, and let's get into my top 5 wide receivers to start here in Week 17. All right, my first must-start player this week is Brandin Cooks of the Houston Texans. And the Texans' top wide receiver, I think, is a great option this week, not only because of the fact that he's talented and is really the only remaining option left for Deshaun Watson to throw the football to. I mean, he's been left with scraps after some roster moves have been made, and obviously the Will Fuller suspension. But I think after seeing what Green Bay did to this Titans defense last week and just seeing the collective body of work as a whole, offenses have really produced well against this Titans defense. And last week, we all know Davante Adams, over 100 yards and 3 scores against this secondary. And A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones both went for nearly 100 yards and had 2 touchdowns between the two. And Aaron Jones had 9 yards per clip. So I think that this is a defense. It's been a liability all season long. It's been their Achilles heel, and opposing offense have just feasted on them. I think that Brandin Cooks this week, especially being a field stretcher, really benefits, and I think that Deshaun Watson is going to call his number a lot. So Cooks has a great ceiling this week. I think that if he finds the end zone, we're looking at some monster numbers from Cooks. He had a really great game against Cincinnati last week, and I think will continue the stretch. So Brandin Cooks, the season finale, the Texans' year is over after Week 17. I think they put out one strong performance and look to improve in 2021. All right, my next must-start wide receiver is Marvin Jones Jr. for the Detroit Lions. And obviously there is one big factor on whether or not Jones is going to be fantasy relevant this week. Matt Stafford was forced out of the game against Tampa Bay with an ankle injury and obviously had no fantasy impact on that game. And when Chase Daniel came in and took over, Marvin Jones' fantasy value was essentially just squashed on the spot. So if we don't see Stafford healthy out there this week, I think Marvin Jones has little to no fantasy value. But with Stafford in the lineup as the wide receiver 1 for that football team, with Kenny Golladay off the field, Jones has been exceptional, and I think he can do the same again this week. Obviously, neither team, the Vikings or the Lions, have anything to play for other than a division rivalry game, but I think this is a secondary that Jones can exploit. They have really been crushed by Marvin Jones throughout his career in Detroit. He's had a 3-touchdown game against them. He absolutely terrorized Xavier Rhodes in his prime a couple of years back on a Thanksgiving game. I mean, we've seen Marvin Jones just be a Vikings eater throughout his career. So I think this is a game when Marvin Jones can be highly productive. I would value him as a low-end wide receiver 1 or a high-end wide receiver 2 if Stafford's out there. I think he can put up nice numbers in Week 17. T.Y. Hilton comes in at my number 3 spot this week, and I actually had to put him in as a filler here. I had Terry McLaurin on the list, but he was actually in a walking boot on Tuesday, so I decided to keep him out of there. And Hilton moves into this spot for me. The Colts this week against the Jags. That's a young defense, not a very good football team. And with the Indianapolis Colts having everything to play for and a playoff berth on the line, they absolutely need to win this game and get their best players the football. And T.Y. Hilton is just that. I had Jonathan Taylor on this list for the same reason. Obviously, he is a much more dependable fantasy producer. But T.Y. Hilton, in my opinion, being the best pass catcher for that Colts offense, 100% deserves a start this week. I mean, Phillip Rivers, he doesn't have much left in the tank, but he has been targeting T.Y. Hilton a decent amount since he's been healthy, and Hilton has produced in various games. So I think this week, all it takes for Hilton is one big play over the top. I think especially if he finds the end zone, this is a guy that as a wide receiver 2 stream or a flex play can have some very nice lineup consideration. All right, these next 2 guys on my list, I wouldn't necessarily classify as absolute must-start players, but they're really good streams if you're desperate at wide receiver 2 or flex. I think their upside is really great this week. They're probably not the most dependable guys in the world, but we have seen really nice games from these players, and I think they can get the job done again this week. I actually thought the guys in that top tier of players were actually the guys with the best matchups this week, and those guys were already shoo-ins to be in your lineups, so I didn't want to include them there, and I wanted to give you guys some meaningful names that could actually help your teams out that you didn't know about. So Jamison Crowder is my top guy, or at least my number 4 guy of those 2 streams. Crowder this week has the Patriots. We've seen him, obviously, that Pats defense has been very solid throughout points the last, 2 decades, but they really showed signs of weakness last week against the Bills. They had absolutely zero pass rush against Josh Allen. They could not get to the quarterback. Their leading sack player this year is Chase Winovich with 3.5, which is just miserable. So Crowder, Sam Darnold is going to have the time to throw the football, and Crowder being, I think, his favorite target and most dependable guy, that safety blanket out of the slot, should have a very nice game. I think in PPR leagues, we're going to see him do some nice things. We've seen Coach Adam Gase take it or leave it. I mean, he's probably not the best play caller in the world, but he has made it a point of emphasis to get Crowder involved in the game. Obviously, Jamison threw a touchdown pass last week and had a reception as well for a touchdown, so clearly they want to use him. I think with that unit missing Stephon Gilmore right now and being a little bit undermanned at corner, obviously still a decent unit, but I think there's just too many things trending in the direction of a favorable matchup for the Jets to pass on Crowder, especially in a flex spot or wide receiver 2 role if you're looking for a stream. So he's a decent option this week. I wouldn't absolutely just put him in there to put him in there, but if you need a spot in your lineup, I think Crowder is a guy who can get the job done in week 17. And then my other player I feel really comfortable streaming this week is Nelson Agholor for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I talked a little bit about Melvin Gordon in my running backs video as another guy in this matchup I like, but Nelson Agholor, he has been very impressive for the Raiders this season. I think that Las Vegas kind of found him a home, and I think that Agholor would be foolish not to resign with this team. I mean, he has clearly found a place where he can thrive, getting out of that situation in Philly. 5 for 155 last week, and Nelson Agholor just looks really sharp right now and living up to kind of that potential that we hoped to see out of him in the first round all those years ago, but clearly did not pan out for the Eagles. So Nelson Agholor, he's a burner, he's dependable, and Derek Carr's second option to Darren Waller. I think he's a guy that can be very productive against this banged-up Denver unit that has given up big outputs to fantasy players all season long. So Nelson Agholor being a deep threat, and the guy I think Carr looks to the most at the wide receiver position is a very healthy start, and a guy at wide receiver 2 or flex that can put up very solid numbers. Those were 5 wide receivers to roll out and give the start to in week 17. And guys, I think can be very nice lineup contributors here in these championship games in the regular season finale for the NFL season in 2020. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and turn that bell on so you guys are notified whenever I come out with a new video. Thank you guys so much for all the support this season. You guys have been amazing. Make sure to stick around. We're going to be getting into off-season content right away here just next week. So stick around for that. We're going to be great fantasy players in 2021, and congratulations to all of you guys who had success here in 2020. It's been a great year. It's been a tough year with all the adversity. I think we still did a great job here, so we're going to be even better in 2021. We're always improving, always expanding, and always getting better, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.